Ladies and gentlemen, if you are over the age of 70 or love someone who is, then this message may be one of the most important things you hear today. Because we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to pretend everything stays the same as we grow older. Today we are going to talk about 5 brutal truths every senior must face about aging, especially when it comes to loneliness. We don't talk about this enough. We talk about exercise, we talk about diet, but we rarely talk about the quiet suffering happening in the hearts of millions of elders around the world. The feeling of being forgotten, the sting of silence, the shrinking of your world, one lost connection at a time. And while the world may ignore it, we won't. Because loneliness is not just emotional, it's physical. It affects your heart, your brain, your health, your will to live. And if you don't confront it, it can slowly take away your strength from the inside out. But this video is not here to depress you. It's here to wake you up, to empower you with truth, to remind you that your story isn't over just because your pace has slowed. So if you've ever felt invisible, forgotten, or quietly aching for connection, this video is for you. Because once you understand these 5 truths, you'll not only see aging differently, you'll walk through it with more strength, clarity, and peace than ever before. Let's begin. Loneliness isn't just emotional, it's physical. After the age of 70, life begins to change in ways many never talk about. The noise of life softens, the house becomes quieter, friends you used to speak with weekly are now memories, the calendar that was once full starts to empty. And slowly, almost silently, loneliness walks in. But here's what most don't realize. Loneliness is not just a feeling, it's a physical condition, a dangerous one. When you feel isolated, your body treats it like a threat. It releases stress hormones like cortisol that increase inflammation, raise blood pressure, weaken your immune system, and even shrink the areas of your brain responsible for memory. Yes, loneliness can make you sick, can age your heart faster. It can even shorten your life. In fact, studies now show that chronic loneliness is as harmful to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And yet, nobody sees it. You can dress well, smile in public, say I'm fine on the outside, but inside you may feel invisible, forgotten, unneeded. Let me tell you this clearly and with love. You are not weak because you feel lonely. You are human. You were created for connection. Your spirit still craves community. Your soul still longs for closeness. But here's the good news. Loneliness is not a life sentence. It's a signal, a reminder that your life still needs others, still has value to give and receive. And yes, rebuilding connection after 70 is harder, but it's also more meaningful. Because the friendships you make now are not built on popularity. They're built on truth, wisdom, and shared courage. So don't hide your loneliness. Face it, name it. Because only when we admit what we're missing, can we start filling those empty spaces again. In the next part, we'll confront the shrinking of your social world and how to rise above it with strength and grace. Your social circle shrinks, but that doesn't mean you have to. One of the hardest things to accept after 70 is that your social world naturally becomes smaller. Friends pass away, family members get busy, children have their own lives. People move on, and sometimes they move away from you. It happens slowly at first. Fewer phone calls, fewer invitations. And then one day, you realize the people you used to laugh with, talk with, eat with, they're no longer around. This is a brutal reality, and it hurts. Not because you're fragile, but because you're human. You've spent your life giving to your family, your job, your community. Now, as your world quiets, you wonder, where did everyone go? But here's what I want you to remember. While your social circle may shrink, your ability to create new connection never disappears. Yes, It takes more effort now. Yes, it may feel awkward at first, but relationships are still possible, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. And here's the truth. You no longer need dozens of friends. You just need one real conversation, one warm visit, one genuine exchange. Connection doesn't come from quantity, it comes from quality. So how do you begin? Join a group, even if it's just once a week. A walking club, a reading circle, a community center. Call someone first. Don't wait for the phone to ring. Be the one who reaches out. Speak to a neighbor. The people closest to you might be waiting for a sign that you're open to talking. Volunteer. Giving time can fill the spaces where loneliness once lived. You are not invisible. You are not irrelevant. You are still capable of forming new bonds, even if the old ones have faded. Your past may be full of loss, but your present is still full of potential. And in the next part, we'll talk about one of the most dangerous traps of aging, emotional silence, and why now is the time to start speaking from your soul. Emotional silence can be deadly. Speak your heart before it's too late. Another brutal truth after 70 is the heavy silence we often carry inside us. Not the quiet of the house, but the quiet of the heart. You've lived through decades of experience. You've seen loss, you've endured pain, you've held back tears. You've watched people walk away, and you've chosen strength when no one noticed. And over time, it becomes easier to say, I'm fine, even when you're not. But emotional silence is dangerous. When we suppress our feelings, we carry emotional weight that was meant to be released, not stored. That weight builds stress, and stress becomes disease. Mental and physical. It leads to heart problems, memory loss, weakened immunity, even depression. And the worst part? No one sees it happening, because many elders learn to suffer quietly. Let me tell you something important. You still have a voice. And that voice matters. You don't have to shout. You don't have to beg. You just have to speak honestly. Talk about your fears. Talk about your grief. Talk about the loneliness, the confusion, even the regret. Not to complain, but to release. Because what stays inside festers. What comes out heals. Speak to someone, your spouse, your children, a trusted friend, a support group, even a counselor. And if none of those feel possible, write. Write in a journal. Write letters you never send. Speak to God. Speak to yourself in the mirror if you must. Just don't stay silent. Because when you speak, you heal. When you share, you reconnect. And when you open your heart, you often find that others are just waiting for permission to open theirs, too. You've carried the world long enough. Now it's time to share the weight and be seen for the full feeling, living soul that you are. In the next part, we'll talk about the fear of being a burden and why that fear must be destroyed if you want to live fully and freely in your later years. You are not a burden. You are a blessing. One of the most painful beliefs seniors carry after 70 is this. I don't want to be a burden. You feel your body slowing down. You need help with tasks that once felt easy. You worry about asking too much, needing too often, depending too heavily. So what do? You pull away. You stay quiet. You hide your pain. You pretend you're fine, even when you're not. But let me tell you something with every ounce of truth in my soul. You are not a burden. You are a blessing. Yes, your needs may be greater now, but your presence, it is priceless. You bring history into every room. You bring perspective into every conversation. You bring patience, wisdom, and calm where the world is loud, fast, and confused. Don't let your limitations make you feel like less. Needing help does not make you weak, it makes you human. And more importantly, it gives others a chance to love you the way you once loved them. You raised children, supported partners, held families together. You sacrificed, you served, you gave. Now it's your turn to receive. Let them carry the groceries. Let them sit and listen. Let them show up for you, not out of pity, but out of honor. Because asking for help is not surrender, it's relationship. It's the glue that binds generations together. And if you're feeling like your life doesn't matter anymore, let me say this. Your very existence is a reminder that we can endure, that we can live long and still love deeply. The world doesn't need less of you. It needs more of your presence, more of your truth, more of your being. You are not in the way. You are the way for others to learn compassion, to grow in patience, to understand love without conditions, to release that false belief. You are not a burden. You are a living library, a light, a legacy, and you are still needed. You've just heard 5 brutal realities about life after 70. Not to frighten you, but to free you. Free you from the lies that say you're no longer needed. Free you from the silence that weighs down your heart. Free you from the idea that aging means fading. The truth is, you are still alive for a reason. You still have power. Power to connect, to speak, to grow, to heal. Yes, your world may be quieter, but that doesn't mean it has to be lonely. You've earned every wrinkle, every scar, every lesson. And those lessons are meant to be shared, not hidden. Your wisdom is medicine. Your story is strength, and your presence is still a gift to this world. Do not let the shrinking of your circle shrink your spirit. Do not let emotional silence steal your peace. Do not believe for a second that needing help makes you a burden. You are not a burden. You are a blessing. And if there's one truth I want you to walk away with, it's this. Aging doesn't take your value away. It reveals it to those who have eyes to see. So speak, connect, ask, receive, and live each day not in fear of what's ending, but in gratitude for what still remains. Because the years ahead may be quieter, but they can also be deeper, richer, and more meaningful than ever before. You're not finished. You're just entering a new chapter. Walk through it boldly. Walk through it with wisdom. But you remember, the world still needs you.